Hi there, so today I'm going to be taking you on a step-by-step guide for beginners on how to make this lovely hat that surely fits for a queen. The first thing we'll be needing is our cinnamon. Now this is 1.5 yards because we're going to be molding both the crown and the base. And that's the hat block, that's our stiffener, that's my very large bowl and my hair cream or any oil base actually, then our thumbtacks. Now remember, if you cannot find any of this in your local store, just check the description of this video. You will see Amazon links, AliExpress links, and my own links to purchase the items. Then you'll be needing the nylon. You see what you're going to use that nylon for, and your scissors, as well as measurement tape and water. Then the cutter also will be needed once we finish. So the first thing you want to do is measure your mold and give it some inch, like an inch in both sides, and that gave us 18. So that means I need 18 by 18 cinnamon, but I'm going to be making it 3 layers. You can do 2 layers. So I folded, since I have 1.5, I folded it into 3 like you can see me doing, and then I cut out one piece. In fact, I cut out all the pieces because I need 3 for the crown and 3 for the base. Remember, it's the base that we're doing right now. That's the brim of the hat. So I folded it into 2 because the width of the cinnamon is by 36, so we're getting 18 by 18. Okay, keep watching and learning. Next step in molding the brim of our hat is to cover the mold or your hat block with nylon, and then you cream it all around and underneath. I skipped that part, the video didn't record, sorry about that. Then now we're mixing up our stiffener. Now some people do the tapping method, they don't mix with water, but I love to dip to ensure that my my cinnamon is covered totally with the stiffener. So I have mixed, I've done the 3, and I noticed it was a bit watery. It shouldn't be too watery, it should just be in between. So I had to do it again. So these are the 3 I've already dipped. You can see it's not dripping so much. That's how it should be when you're done. So I'm placing it on top of my hat block. Remember, you would have creamed it first of all so that it comes out easily. Now the 3rd layer we're going to put diagonally like this, differently, and this is to ensure that it gives it a nice grade. Now this, you check the 2 edges, all the edges, to ensure that the materials will be able to cover up all, and then you do our north, south, east and west. You must put your thumbtacks in that way first of all before you start squeezing each of the various parts. Now if you have watched our video on molding with other types of materials, you must have already known why that is done, and that's so that we would have a smooth finish. So keep watching, and if you're gaining value from this video so far, please do give us a thumbs up. Okay, now we're going to continue taking all the various corners till it's done like so. Okay, so I just use the little one that is left just to make sure that it touches all areas. Okay, so you put it out on the sun to dry. Now because it's raining season, it actually took 3 days to get dried, and this is how it is, looking so lovely and smooth, isn't it? Do let me know in the comment section below, was it smooth? All right, then the next thing you do is to take off your thumbtacks that I'm doing, and after you're through with that, you cut off the edges. Now I usually cut it off to close to the pin part like so. Okay, so that's how it is right now, and then you start using your fingers and going around like this, and keep doing that till it starts easing off. Then you help it like so, and you continue all the way out till it smooth the crown. Now already measured the crown, and you use the highest point to measure. The next thing you do is you cover it up with your nylon to protect your mold or hat block, depending on your local government area. Anyway, all right, then I'm cutting off the excess nylon so that it will stand perfectly well. The next thing I do is cream up the base. I cream up around underneath, the side and everywhere. So our stiffener is ready. If you have watched the beginning, how to make the base, you already know how to make your stiffener. So I dip it in like so in preparation to mold my crown. As I said, I've already measured it. Now they're 18 inches by 18 inches, and I have 3 pieces. So I place them one after the other like I am doing, all 18 by 18 pieces. So the next thing you want to do is make sure it's in the middle, that each of the corners is going to cover up like so. So can you see what I'm checking? So I check both edges like so. Once it's able to complete, I do my north, south, east and west. Yes, if you have been watching the way we mold, that is what you do first of all to ensure that your mold comes out smooth. But in the crown, take note, it's a bit different. You would have some pleats because it's straight down, like because of the shape anyway, so it's not so straight. So the next thing you want to do is grab one corner like I'm doing. So you keep trying to smooth it out as much as you can. So I'm going to be pinning down the diagonals right now. As you can see, I'm pulling it and applying much pressure to straighten all the four sides, all the four corners. Okay, after the north, south, east and west. Okay, so now the last one that I'm doing, I would spend time and ensure it is really smooth. If any pleats are coming, I make them look neat and nice. So that's what I'm now going to do. I will take off all the diagonals and do this for all the four diagonals and start putting the pins close to each other as I smoothen out the edges. So I'm going to do that all around the diagonals. So keep watching and learning. So I'm showing you how to do just one side, so ensure you do that to all the four diagonals. Keep watching and learning. After I'm done, I go round again to see how I can smoothen it further, removing some pins if it's not so flat. Can you see what I'm doing? So that's what I'm going to do, going around. I'm still applying more pressure and going around, and it has come out cool. I've left it out to dry for 3 days, remember, because of the weather, and it is dried up like so. So now I'm going to use my cutter. It's a bad cutter, has one edge, but it helps me very well in removing my pins. Ensure you put them straight in the carton so it doesn't injure anyone. Okay, the next thing I did was to iron the pleats down so that it becomes flatter. Please don't use same material, it brings out hairs, but because I'm going to spray this, it was okay. So the next thing you want to do is cut out the excess like I'm doing. Keep watching and learning. Once that's done, you start taking your hand through all the corners and shaking it like I'm doing, and before you know it, it pulls out from the mold. Okay, so just in case you're like me and you couldn't get the exact color of the cinnamon you needed, you can do that with car spray. Alright, so this is how it turned out, my royal blue crown and the base. So the first thing you want to do is put your hat wire into your hat base. Now I'm sure if you have been watching all my other videos on molding, you already know how to cut your wire perfectly and put it together before you put it in your base. But if you don't know, check the description below. The description below, you will see links to them. The next thing you do is to glue it with uhu gum. Now the height of my crown is too high, so what I did was to cut out 1.5 inch from the crown so that it gets lower. So you can do this to the height you want it to be, but I wanted it to be like about 3.5 thereabouts on the highest part. I didn't check the lowest part. So the next thing to do is get the midpoint of your crown. Now you take your razor and cut out like a rectangle or a square out. Once you do that, the next thing you have to do is take your scissors and you start cutting. It's called notching. You start cutting out in triangular form to where the circle ends, that circle on top, because you're going to put your crown inside to fit it perfectly so you have a complete hat. So that's what I'm going to do all the way round. So just follow this process and do it all the way round. Keep watching and learning. Okay, so this is what you get after you have done that. Now it is too long, so I'm going to cut it short like so. So you need like just an inch to go into your base. After that, you put your uhu gum at the top part, not the inside, because the crown is going to fit on top and you want it to stick. So this is how you put your crown, like so. Okay, then you turn it and use your hand and start pressing it. If you want good measure press down, you take your crown and you fit it in and leave it for a while to dry and fit perfectly together. Okay, so after a while, the next thing, you take it off like so, and you take your needle and thread and you're going to sew it all the way around. Where you glued, you're going to sew it round so that it is stuck there for life. All right then, keep watching and learning. Amazon, AliExpress, and my links will be dropped in the description of this video in case you can't find any item used here in your local store. Okay, so once you're done with sewing it all round, now I take my bias and fold it into 2 halves, and I'm going to be ironing it down. Now this is so that it will enable me to glue it around the rim of the hat perfectly well. Now that's what I'm doing now using my uhu gum. So the next thing, with your straight Petersham, you put it all around the rim. Now that's to cover up your sewing and the joining, although of course if you sew it well you won't even see the needle and thread, like you can't see it in mine, but you need to do this also for the hat to look neat and lovely. After that was done, I took my ostrich quill and I sewed it. Now when you're sewing the ostrich quill, you first of all need to take the needle through the ostrich quill to hold it perfectly well. Then after that, you take it around it and fit it perfectly. Now we have 2 other feathers we're going to be making use of, this long slim feathers. So all you need to do for these ones is to pull them out like so. And this owl bunch feathers, what you need to do is use your razor, cut out the thread and start turning it out, turning the thread round, and all the feathers will fall off like so. Okay, so let's get sticking them. So what you do is you take those long slim feathers and you start gluing them and forming like a fan, a round fan with it. You space it out sparingly. That's what I did, following the design you have to make. So you can do yours a different way, but that's how I did this. Okay, now the next thing I did was to take those arrow feathers. Now they are free at a certain part of the stem, so all you need to do is cut it off at that fray. At the length you also need, of course, and you start sticking it together. Yes, as I was doing, I remembered you got to glue the bias round first of all so that you don't stand bending the feathers when you do this. So I had to stop that, and I took my bias and put it all around the rim just beneath the Petersham that I had put round. Then I took a black Petersham to put around the joining of the base and the crown to cover up the sewing there. Then you get back to putting your arrow feathers, and I just put all of them round. I used the whole bunch. There's some bending, you just know how you're going to put it so it gets to this shape. You just be putting it round and it forms this lovely beautiful hat. So if you love the design of this hat, please do give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see how I made this next hat, you want to click that subscribe button and the bell so you get notified when I put up all my new videos. Oh, thank you so much for staying with me till the end of this video. Till we meet next time is goodbye and God bless.